Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention?
What time is it?
I've just been handed an urgent and horrifying news story.
Now Myers to win the league, yes!
And I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
Game time! Where was thunder?
Cannonball!
Well, hello and welcome to the Below the Rim Show, a show dedicated to the BBL. It's me, Pabs. I'm joined, as always, by my main man, Ads. How you doing, mate? You alright?
A bit hoarse-throated, so you'll have to excuse me. Commentated 3 games on Saturday.
Good lord.
And, and then I've just finished coaching for 2 hours, so losing my voice slightly, but all good.
Good, man. Well, you're here. It's you got a lot of talking to do tonight with the Giants doing what they're doing at the moment. It was a very strange weekend for them. The human basketball consumption machine, Io, is back. How are you, sir?
Not too bad, not too bad. Excited for the season. Excited for how I believe professional basketball in the UK is going. And I'm just excited, period, man. Excited for the new seasons of basketball. Although I've been watching basketball all year round, literally the whole summer. I started with the U18 African Championship, men's and women's. Then I went off to the African World Cup qualifiers zone. Window 4, and then Eurobasket, and now Women's World Cup in Australia. So I've been watching basketball the whole summer, man.
Living up to your nickname.
For sure.
The media guru, Mr. Paul Nicholson, is here as well. How are you, sir?
I'm really good. I'm running on empty a little bit. I had an away trip to Cheshire. Didn't get back until about 3:30 in the morning, and then went into the office for 9 o'clock to get on with business as normal. So feeling it a little bit, but do you know what? Good to be back.
Good stuff. We'll mention Mr. Grant Young, our northern correspondent. He's obviously not here this week. He's on holiday. He's in Portugal, ripping up the golf courses, creating divots and losing golf balls.
Literally ripping it up.
yeah. We heard that he's playing with Liv, isn't he? Playing with LIV, isn't he? The Liv. That's what I heard anyway. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, he's definitely playing with Liv. Yes,
bless him.
Definitely. Yeah, he turned down PGA and he took like the 75 mil from Liv LIV. Yeah.
Well, I was jealous. He
I would do the same. I would do the same.
Yeah, he sent a few pictures over in the group chat. Yeah, I was jealous. Anyway, well, obviously we'll talk through each of the games that took place over the weekend. We'll get into that. Obviously, we've got each of us here has got an area where we can kind of dive in first and let other people follow. So we'll get into that. First up, I think we're gonna tackle something that is, and I don't necessarily. It's hard. I don't want to be disrespectful because obviously the situation the game is in this country, it's on the up, it's on the rise. It feels like the BBL as a whole is on the rise. The standard of player is on the rise. The standard of coverage is on the rise. The social media stuff is getting better, and all the promotional stuff is getting better. The one thing that over the weekend seemed to be going across everybody's group chat, everybody's chat in the games, is the refereeing issues. It's tough. I was of this situation, and you guys will vouch for this in the group chat. I was furious at the refereeing, the standard of refereeing at the Patriots. Oh Jesus Christ, that's been a while. I'm even wearing the hat, Patriots hat, but I still nearly said it. Anyway, the Patriots Knicks game, which was absolutely fantastic, and we'll get onto that. But I found myself getting furious with the refereeing, but then when you look at it from both sides, it's inconsistent. Both sides were affected by the refereeing decisions. Both sides had issues, and it was like that across all the games. I just wonder what can be done other than we make these guys fully professional referees, because I'm under the assumption that they have a day job, so that it's not their focus. Which obviously is going to make things difficult, because if you're not living and breathing it, it's not quite the same as referees across Europe who are professional, referees in America who are professional, even college refs and high school refs to a degree as well have a level of professionalism about them that you could argue is higher than some of our refs. Not all, because some of our referees are higher echelon. I just wonder what you guys thought about it, and it's a tough one to talk about.
Yeah. I'll just step in real quick and then I'll sit back and listen, because I don't want to. What I don't want to do is talk about individual decisions. I don't want to talk about individual plays that were or weren't called or anything like that. Knowing what to do with refereeing is, first of all, you need to understand what is done currently. What do they do? What's the process? What's the protocol? What's the training? We don't know, so it's very difficult to tell what they need to do next. And the professional stuff, having a full-time referees, I think it's a good thing. Hey, even if you've got one at every game, right? Because you've got 3 referees at every game.
Sure.
Even if you have 1 referee at every game, which is a full-time ref, at least when you have a full-time ref, there's a level of accountability. I'm not saying that these guys don't try. I'm not saying that these guys aren't or couldn't be at a good enough standard. What I'm saying is, do they get enough training? When the game gets faster, the players get bigger, everyone gets stronger. Do they get faster? Is their eyesight ready enough? Are they quick enough up and down the court? Excellent. Can they keep up? Can they keep up with the game? Can they keep up with Antonio Williams full court? I don't know.
Brilliant. No, keep going. Please keep going. But you're taking all my points, but I love it. Keep going. No. Please, I said it with all due respect, bro. Please keep going.
Yeah, but this is what I'm saying. Like we've got athletes in this league. We got big ass dudes, fast dudes. Can we keep up? On a serious note, can we keep up? When I've been to other countries and I've seen the referees, their warm up is about as vigorous as the players' warm up.
Yeah.
Because they need to be, because they have to keep up. But are we in a position where we give our referees the opportunity to be that good?
That's it.
Rather than the referees' ability themselves, do we give them the option to be that good? I don't know.
I am a man. Have you got any points left, or has he nicked them all?
No, I mean he's Paul's eloquently, and articulately, eloquently articulated, the points well. To kind of on the back, or just kind of piggybacking of what Paul said. I think accountability is my issue. Well, accountability and training. It doesn't seem to be. It's the accountability for the most part. Forget the training, because even with training, that comes with a level of financial. You have to put that money. Put money towards training. Training is not free. You know what I mean? Like if you're going to hire high class referees. High class referees from this, and you know me, how much I love European basketball. High class referees, top draw, top flight referees from Europe, from EuroLeague, from ACB to train referees over here. That costs money, right? The referees also have to get younger. They have to be more diverse. There needs to be more women. More black referees, more black women referees, more male, more Asian referees, more Asian and women referees. When I look at when I'm watching France Pro A, I'm just astonished, because like I'm seeing referees that look like me, and I'm like, oh, but regardless of whether they look like me or not, they're running up and down the court sometimes faster than the players.
Yeah.
But regardless of all of that, or not necessarily all of that, right? Regardless, it is the accountability. That is my issue. No one's holding them accountable. It's almost they have free reign to really call a shit show. And let's be honest, the product of, and I don't want to say British basketball, couldn't care less. The product of the British Basketball League, because that's the league I care for, right? The product of the British Basketball League can go so far if the refereeing is poor. if the officiating is poor, if the accountability for the poor officiating is non-existent, the product will go so far. So we need accountability. There needs to be accountability, or there needs to be at least some kind of open accountability, or we need to understand that these referees are being held accountable, that they're being reprimanded for poor decisions, for multiple poor decisions in games, and by reprimanding, I'm saying suspend them for a couple of games. I'm saying even if it's consistently bad over a number of games or even over a season, demote them. They need to be held accountable. Like they have to be held accountable, because at the end of the day, it's just free reign. I felt so bad for Atiba Lyons. I feel so bad for him, because as much, and you guys know how much I'm a big fan of Sheffield Sharks and Atiba, right? Yeah. I've spoken his praises, so many times over so many different episodes, here Below the Rim. I felt so bad for him. Don't get me wrong. Now, it's not like the Lions versus Sharks game, it wasn't like it was, Sharks didn't have as many fouls than as many free throws or free throw attempts than the Lions. It was pretty even. But regardless, the consistency of poor judgment calls on these plays were it was just embarrassing to me. And we need the officiating to be better, because the product will only go so far. And also, an extension of that is with the amount of really good players that this league is now attracting, right? And don't get me wrong, it's not like a gargantuan amount of players that this, top level players that the league is attracting. It's getting better, right, across the board. But that will go so far if certain players who want to play over here say, do you know what? I really want to play over there, but the referee, the officiating is poor. That could happen. Yeah. That could actually that could be a decision. I wouldn't be surprised. And can I just say one thing? One thing. I'm not calling out Drew Lasker. I'm not calling you out, bro. Sincerely. Anyone that's connected to Drew, please tell him I am not calling him out at all. However, at around the 7:30 mark, I think in the second quarter, I believe, Drew Lasker said, and I stated the following: the Lions have to learn how the game is refereed here. Now, which is fine. I have no necessarily issue with that statement. More so, I believe it's not necessarily about the Lions learning how the game is refereed here. I take issue with it because I believe the officiating was poor across the board, and I believe that many of the said bad decisions went against the Sharks. Not a whole lot, but many of them in the most vital times in the game. And I feel that the BBL referees have to learn how to officiate the game properly and fairly. And I say fairly because going back to the Royals days, and it just feels like teams that have this level of clout, this level of notoriety and pull, they're the ones that are getting penalized the most. And I'm not saying that was evident in the London Lions and Sharks game, but the point I'm trying to make is it just seems like they go out to attack the poor referee, the poor officiating just really attacks the teams like some of the big teams, the Sheffields, the Londons, the Royals of back in the day. It's really, really poor, and it just needs to get better. Because again, the product of the game will only go so far if the officiating is at a low level, and that's it.
That's my man. What you got on it? Because we've been around for a long old time, and there's one referee in particular that I remember from the early 90s, and he still refs.
It's a debate that we should actually do an entire show on, in all honesty, and get a couple of referees on.
Yeah, I was gonna say it would be nice to actually hear from someone who can stand there.
Referees. Yeah, and and I talk to refs a lot, and most of the ones that I know carry full-time jobs and they referee as well, and I'm talking referees that do local league through to the BBL and the WBBL. Now, I think that there might be one or two that actually do kind of make a bit of a living out of it, because you see them all over the place. Because obviously refs that they do, and there's a lot of refs that will go up and down the country all week long refereeing ball games. So I'm already thinking of 3 or 4 people who I'd love to invite on the show. What they all say, though, is the same thing. And it's quite simple. Refereeing is hard. Yeah. It's really hard.
Absolutely.
Now, have you guys ever tried it? I hate refereeing scrimmages during our practice, because you just miss things.
I did a referee's course.
You're under the basket compared to what you see at the top of the point line is totally different, and it's hard because you're then surrounded by 10, 13-year-olds all screaming at you, going, and you're going. And at the end of practice, you're going, I'm glad I'm not a referee. But here's the one thing that I will say about it. The people that want refereeing to be the best quality it can possibly be is the referees themselves.
Yeah.
The ones I talk to spend time going to these refereeing conferences, these courses, all kinds of things. The refs are actually the ones that want it to improve as much as anybody. And there's some guys that work pretty hard at doing that.
For sure.
It was kind of funny because, like you said, whilst I was watching the Giants play Sheffield last night, I was sat with Jeff Jones. Okay. Now, as a player, Jeff was never the biggest fan of referees. As a coach, Jeff has been known to be vocal, so it's always fun sitting next to Jeff, especially in a tight game. But as I'm sort of looking at my phone as well, I'm seeing you guys talking about the refereeing over at Cheshire, going, okay, this seems to be a recurring theme. But yeah, it's difficult. But I really think that we should actually invite a few referees on here, and let's talk with them. Let's see what they're up against.
Go on,
sorry, Al, go ahead.
Sure. I mean, I don't disagree with anything you're saying, but anything you've said. But I think that wanting the officiating to be of a high standard is one thing, right? But it can't happen without accountability. Like there needs to be accountability. Like it just seemed like when you talk to the players that have been here for several seasons, several years, they will tell you it's all the same referees. It's all the same referees, making the bad decisions and
so, just to kind of, because we'll
just
move on to the games, but go on.
Sure, but last thing is just where is the accountability? Like who is holding them accountable?
All I'll say on top of that is that if the system is there that they can in effect learn from their mistakes and progress and be, like you say, be made accountable for what mistakes have been made, but if the system is there for them to do that and progress and maybe pick up on it in the next game, but I just don't. I feel like the system's. I don't think there's enough support.
Before I kind of head off on that one, I just think it's easy to be able to say, there's some bad calls, there's this, there's that, there's some really freaking good ones on here as well, some really great referees. Yeah. But I think if they get given the support that they need, that improves.
Let's move on, and like you say, Ads, maybe we'll do a whole show on that. We'll see how things progress, because obviously the 777 will no doubt be on top of social media side of things, what's been said and what's been going on. They may well have a plan for it. We don't know. It's maybe something they've not yet considered regarding moving forward. But obviously, it's something that they'll no doubt look at tackling. Let's start things off with the first. Was it the first game? Which game tipped off first? Let's have a look. Well, we'll start with the games as they are. I think they tipped off at the same time. Bristol Flyers at home, Manchester Giants. It was, in the end, just a 1-point win for the Bristol Flyers after a late 3 from Dirk Williams, which was... it was an exciting game. It was fun. I'm assuming you guys watched it. I watched it, and I'm still not sure how the Giants managed to kind of throw it away. They had the big lead. They looked incredible. They looked phenomenal in transition, particularly. I guess you could say the defense wasn't as impressive, but then it's a Vince McCauley team. It's a team that's going to score, and it felt maybe a little bit like you say, you're a team full of shooters. You live by the 3-point. You die by it as well. Like you go for stretches where you're not hitting those shots. You go for stretches where you're not scoring, and obviously open the door, particularly in the third quarter, for Bristol to come back and ultimately take it. Who wants to take this one? Who wants to have a say on this one first? Because go on, Nicholson. You're looking. I know you're a big Flyers fan.
I didn't catch the game because we had our fans meet and greet that night, right? But I've seen some of the highlights of it, and I've seen Bristol. I've watched them play. Mm-hmm. You tell me Bristol's competing in a game to the end of the fourth quarter. That doesn't surprise me. They're good. It's a good team this year. They got good players. They're big. They play tough defense. Like, just quickly,
after we said they'd finish, bottom of the table. Look, mad, isn't it?
It's the best Flyers team I've seen in a long time, and maybe not because of the skill, but just the way it's being recruited. And I've got to hats off if I'm wrong. Yeah, I was wrong. I'm wrong. I said I'm not a big fan of Flyers. You know that. I didn't think they were going to do very well. I didn't know who the guys were, and then I watched them. And they're good, and they'll compete with pretty much every team in the BBL this season. Can they get it over the line at the end? Well, that's what we'll find out as the season goes on.
It did. I don't know if you guys are with me. It did feel a little bit more like the Giants threw it away rather than the Flyers won it. I am a man. Opinion on that?
Man. I really hope. That statement itself is tough. Although I agree with you, it is tough because, again, you guys, this is another thing. People, whether you follow me on Twitter or listen to me on here, you guys know how much of a fan I am of Bristol and their off-court business sense and how they've been doing. Exactly, like their endeavors and everything. Unfortunately, over the years, it hasn't matched, on court, but it is what it is. That said, saying that, the question, and it's not just you that's been asking it, because I asked it in my poll in a roundabout way. Did Bristol Giants get upset? But saying did Bristol win it or did Giants lose it? And I think saying Giants lost it, although I believe that is the truth, kind of takes away from what Bristol did well, right? But with that being said, it comes back down to the officiating, because part of the officiating was part of the win was due to the poor officiating towards the end. But I think that one thing, if anything, the Bristol Flyers are like I hate to use NBA terms, but the grit and grime team of the British Basketball League, and they have been for several years. That is how they play. That's their mentality. That's their defensive. And I think they haven't been able to consistently do that for 40 minutes, right? And in the clutch moments, right? In clutch crunch time moments, they haven't been able to do that. If this past game with Manchester is an example of them turning the corner, or of coach turning the corner in and kind of upscaling his understanding of, you know, how to communicate that to, you know, his players. Then we're looking at a team that's going to win a lot of ugly games, which I appreciate, and they're going to give a lot of teams issues this season because they gave, towards the end of last season, London Lions a lot of issues, you know. And I was at a couple of those. I was at one particular home game where they gave, you know, one particular home game here in East London at the Copper Box, where they gave, you know, where they just grinded it out for 40 minutes, and it wasn't that the Lions squad didn't respect them. It was just that the Flyers just kept going. They kept going, and they just refused to, you know, let go. And I think this is going to be another one of. It could be another one of those seasons. But if they do that consistently, then they're really going to irritate a lot of teams. And I'm all for it. I'm all for it. I'm all for it. So don't get me wrong. Listen, yes, the Giants lost that game, and unfortunately, and I don't mean to disrespect the Flyers. Unfortunately, it does take away from what the Flyers did. However, what the Flyers did is grind it out for 40 minutes, and they refused to die. And I loved it. Yeah. They're going to win they could win a lot of games. They could possibly win a lot of games this season, but we'll see. The jury's still out.
Ads, my man, bring it home.
All right. Well, I haven't seen the game. I haven't had a chance to sit down and watch it yet, but I will do, because I read the stat sheet several times, and I'm looking at it now. With a game like that, you're sort of going, right, okay, let's dig into it a bit and see what happened here, see if we can come up with something. But when you look down the actual statistics, a lot of it's pretty even. You know what I mean? There was two stats that really stood out to me, and that was free throw shooting. Bristol only shot 50% from the line, and Manchester 57%. That's low. That's really low. But the point that the stat that I'm really looking at with these Giants is points from turnovers, because if you go down there, 4 points for Bristol off turnovers, 20 from Manchester. Yeah. Now, I've seen Giants a couple of times, once pre-season and then last night, so we'll get on to that. This Giants team will kill you in transition because they are fast and they are long. So, without watching the game, I can't give a full, honest thing about it. But looking at it, it looks like Bristol is, like I always just said, they're a team that are just going to get down and dirty, grinding away. They possibly caught the Giants off the back foot a little bit, because obviously this Giants team's stacked. So they may well have, expected to come out and do things that they didn't actually manage to do, because Bristol kept going. I can hear myself twice for some reason.
Oh no, have your headphones become unplugged or something?
No. Huh. I think it might have been when Io turned back on then somehow. Yeah. Really? Io, have you got a speaker on in the background?
No.
That'd be a delay.
Well, we'll muddle through that anyway. Io, you had your hand up. You want something to add before we move on?
Can I just say, so I got into a bit of a back and forth on Twitter, as we always do. But no, it wasn't a back and forth. It was more so a conversation with a gentleman that kind of that questioned, and I really want to call out his Twitter handle. Bear with me. I won't take too long. It is right here. It's right here. It's right here. Because it was in a thread that a poll that I put up, asking fans if, the Giants, what was the biggest headline of the opening weekend? Giants losing to Bristol, Dirk's stat line, bad refereeing decisions, and Sharks going 0-2 over the weekend. Now, this gentleman by the name of John, his Twitter handle is, I can't pronounce it, it's like EPOU.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, VANTAIL, whatever. He was kind of questioning, things about Manchester that I thought was unnecessary, because what you have here, or what I said basically, kind of to summarize, was the fact that, one, it's a new offense, it's a new team, right? It's a totally new team from last season. Ramon Fletcher is still trying to understand his role, his starting role, right? He's obviously he's a vet, and obviously as a vet he wants to make players better and make people feel comfortable, but also he needs to feel comfortable himself. So he's trying to balance being a leader, making everyone comfortable, as well as trying to make everyone better, as well as understanding Vince's playbook, offensive playbook. So there is a lot that goes into that. So my point is, yes, Manchester did struggle in this game, but I think it's just early season jitters. They only had one or two preseason games, so there is still a lot of cobwebs they need to kind of get out, and I don't see.
We still don't know Dan Clark's coming back either.
Yeah, I mean, fine. Personnel is another thing, but
yeah.
I don't see this being a consistent thing throughout the season. Personally, I really don't see it. I think they will iron it out. That there's so many smart players on that team. There's so many smart players on that team, man. They've got a really core group of high IQ vets, and I think it's just early season jitters. They only played one or two preseason games. Again, ads, correct me if I'm wrong.
No,
I think they
you're
will.
Right.
They will iron this out.
They had a nightmare because they had quite a few games lined up playing in Europe last week, which got cancelled. So their pre-season didn't really happen. They had that game against the USA Select, and then of course they had that game that I saw playing against Caledonia. So yeah, I agree with that. Io. They've not had much of a pre-season yet.
Just quickly, can we all look at Paul Nicholson's screen? He looks like a psychopath. He's holding a glass of wine and staring down the barrel of the lens.
I was looking at the stats because you mentioned obviously Dan Clark, right? The problem is when the BBL season starts, I'm busy as hell, so sometimes I miss a bit. He was signed for the Giants, right?
Well, we don't know. He was in a photograph, and
he was in their graphics. He was on a 2-year deal. Someone tell me what the hell's going on.
Yeah, I'm sure it will become as clear as mud very soon. Anyway,
that was my confused look.
We'll move on to this. Just before we move on, shout out, of course, to Mike Miller and William Lee, who's, I believe, was William Lee for that performance is in the starting. Is in the what do you call it?
All-Star 5.
The All-Star 5. Although I didn't know you could go in the All-Star 5 with a loss, so maybe it was for the.
No, that was the BBL shows 5.
Oh, was it? We didn't talk about that.
Well, Dirt Williams and William Lee have made the.
They both have, yeah.
And 5.
And Mike Miller, of course, for his performance, 18 points, 15 rebounds, and 8 assists. I mean, I feel like people maybe forgotten about him a little bit because obviously he spent majority of last season injured and came back for the playoffs and dropped some big numbers in the playoffs. But here he is.
He's in my fantasy team.
Well, you're a lucky boy. Anyway, congratulations to them, obviously. Standout performances over the weekend. Let's move on. We'll have our own 5 at the end of this show as well. Although there's only 4 of us, we're going to pick a player each. I think we'll have to all agree on another one. But anyway, we'll get to that at the end of the show. Let's move on. Surrey Scorchers were at home to the visiting Cheshire Phoenix. I would like to invite everybody listening to head to our YouTube channel, which we don't really use very often, I'll be honest. The show goes up on it, but people tend to listen to it on Spotify and through the app or whatever. But there's a little cinematic style recap of that game. It's only about 2.5 minutes long. It's all right. It's a bit of fun. It pissed a few people off, which is a shame, but there you go. But a lot of people did enjoy it, which is great. But head to that and have a look. But the game itself was almost, I don't know if you guys agree, was almost kind of marred before it even started when it was announced that a number of Surrey players wouldn't be playing, which they're impactful players that were going to be missing out. And then, of course, as well, during the course of the game, Andrew Lawrence, who was having a fantastic game, pulled up a hamstring on
my God!
Trying to steal the ball from
a brilliant game. That guy,
phenomenal player. So from that respect, it was a little bit upsetting. I was going to say disappointing, but it was a little bit more upsetting than that. Finished Cheshire Phoenix 96, Surrey Scorchers 81. I am a man. You were there, weren't you?
Yes, sir. My first game at the Surrey Sports Park. We went down with a few people. My guy Josh Bett and the amazingly talented, beautiful, highly intelligent Melita Carr. They were on comms, and obviously, I was doing my media stuff. And yeah, it was great. It's great atmosphere. I've been highly critical of Surrey.
Oh yeah. How did that go?
Really? Well, yeah. I shout out to them because they.
So what is the leisure centre like?
It's really nice. It's really nice. Again, first time I've been there. The one thing I did appreciate, I appreciate several things, but one of the big things I did appreciate is kind of the hospitality. No, not kind of, the hospitality. The hospitality was top notch, man. Top notch. And there were several things I want to kind of point out, but I don't want to overtalk, although I do always overtalk. There was two things. One, like the hospitality was A1. A1, their fan zone was brilliant. It was packed out.
Yeah, that
absolutely
is always
rammed.
Yeah.
Like
in fact, most of the games of the weekend were nicely full. Yeah,
like they had the all their merch in there. They had games for the kids. They had food and it was just a great atmosphere, a really really great atmosphere. So I appreciate it. Appreciate the hospitality from the organization. They brought me a foam finger. I should have actually had it here. Maybe we'll cut and I'll just bring it and I'll have it up here. But no, they were excellent. And it's a shame that they lost the game because it was such a really good game. It was such a good game. And listen, Larry Austin Jr., man. Oh my God. I asked him this question. I said, who pissed you off, bro? He said, excuse me? I said, yeah, who pissed you off? He said, what do you mean? I said, well, someone doesn't do what you did and not be pissed off. Who pissed you off? Did someone say something about your mother? I could understand because you were just venomous. Like,
I think we should nickname him
the song Venom. Like you are that. Yeah. You were Venom in this song, in that game. Like it was such a brilliant display of offensive power that Larry Austin had and that Larry Austin displayed. But again, like we said, not the biggest headline, but the saddest headline was the fact that Andrew Lawrence, pulled a bit of a hammy. I hope it's not as bad as it is. I hope he's able to rest up and come back the next game, or maybe take maybe 1 or 2 games off and be back with the Surrey squad. Such a great game, back and forth, the really good basketball. Another thing I did appreciate was Cheshire's traveling fans. Every game I've been to London Lions games, flipping Royals games, and their fans travel. That is I don't want to say it's rare, but like London Lions fans, with respect, I haven't seen them travel as much, if that makes sense. But I always seem to hear and see Cheshire Phoenix fans travel, and I love that. I love that they were loud. I mean, it was like maybe 20 of them, 30 really? Max, if that. It wasn't that many in comparison to the home fans, but you heard them. They made themselves, be heard. You felt their presence, and it was brilliant. That helped spur on the team. And I had a bit of a conversation with my guy Ben Thomas. after the game.
Head coach, yeah.
Head coach, who got at me, had a bit of a rant at me because I don't think he did say that I said something about Cheshire like last season. Now I don't remember saying what he's accusing me of. However, it does sound like something I would say. So, shout out to Ben Thomas. You guys were brilliant. And it was great to kind of meet you in person. Great to kind of meet the players in person. They were great. It was a great game. Again, marred by injury. But yeah, no. Salute to both teams. Larry Austin Jr. is an absolute problem. I heard he picked up an injury in the previous game. I hope it's not that bad. I'm really fingers crossed for him, bro. I hope you're listening. I really hope you're listening.
Just so you know, he did walk out of the arena at the end of the night. I spoke to him. I spoke to him as he was leaving. Hoped he was going to get better soon, and he was walking.
That's good. I think I'm going to reach out to him and just to see how he's doing because just kind of build up a bit of a rapport. But no, Larry Austin Jr. is an issue. Yeah. And listen. Ben, I'm sorry, Ben. I'm sorry, Ben. I'm going to say it,
Mr. Thomas.
Mr. Thomas, Ben. I'm sorry, but listen. Newcastle, Leicester. You guys have big ambitions. If you're thinking about, upscaling the squad, Larry Austin might be the one to look at. I'm saying that's all I'm saying.
If I remember rightly, I think I wrote about him last season. And I think I wrote about him as being the almost like a direct equivalent of the T-1000, the Robert Patrick character in Terminator 2. He just does not stop. He doesn't.
He really doesn't. Cheshire are going to be good this season. I think, despite they lost their last game, Cheshire are going to be good. They're really going to be good this season. I really like what they did. Their running gun. They're going to be good this season. They're going to cause a lot of team problems. And salute to Ben Thomas. And salute to the entire team, man. They did great.
Ads, my man, your man, Mr. Jamal Anderson, has made it into the All-Star 5 thanks to his performance in this particular game. Phenomenal.
Yeah, I mean, Jamal's just gone over and just given it Jamal stuff. You know what I mean? I mean, look at his numbers on the night. I think he was only one away from a double-double. He had a crazy index, didn't he? It was like 29 something. Yeah. So Jamal gave a demonstration of the full Jamal Anderson range of what he can do. He's going to be riding on the crest of a wave after a great summer. Commonwealth Games gold medalist, part of the GB squad. So he's played a lot of basketball over the summer. So he's in great shape. And he's come out and just proven what a great player he is, and he's done the business. I mean, I was disappointed when Jamal didn't re-sign for Manchester, but then again, I was happy that the team he went to was Cheshire because he's played there before. The fans know him, so yeah, it's great for them having him back. I mean, as you know, I'm a bit of a secret Cheshire fan. I love him. I saw them play in a pre-season game against the Magic, and I said to you guys, they look very good.
Recruited well.
They've just got all bases covered. You know what I mean? They've got Laurie Austin and Jamal, who are both seemingly going to be buckets this year.
Terrific
Big
defenders,
Mike,
just before you start.
Big Mike under the basket at both ends is a problem for any team. Having Will Neighbour there is a great thing. Now, remember as well that David Ulf hasn't played yet. He's still trying to get out. I forgot. Yeah, he's got a little injury. It's nothing too serious. I was asking him about it when I saw him at the Magic game. So he'll be back soon. But Ulf is going to make an impact too, because we've seen what this guy can do at BBL level. He's a big guy. He's strong.
Good backup for Mike.
Yeah, great, perfect backup. So it's like I keep saying, Cheshire have got it covered. I don't think he was a true representation of Surrey for all the reasons that we've given.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to be the whipping boys that they were last year. So it's disappointing winning your opening game, especially at home.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's anything to look at and go, oh, sorry. I just think it's, it's obvious what happened.
Yeah.
And, Cheshire are a very good team. So if you're short-staffed,
you're in trouble.
and you got injuries, you're going to struggle.
Yeah,
so,
sure.
no, I don't really think that this is the Surrey Scorchers that we're going to see this year. But it's very much the Cheshire team we're going to see this year. They're very, very good.
Nicholson, you can smug up there. Go on.
He's just realised he's coming to Manchester on Sunday. And I'm going to...
I just have a look at the group chat. I just sent a little emoji in there, a little in between us. Ooh, friends, Cheshire. Ooh. Yeah. No, I'm joking. No, they look all right, to be fair. I can't lie. They look all right.
Yeah.
You're not joking.
They look good. They look good. You're right. They've got weapons. The biggest thing I would say about them, this game was on the Friday night, right? So I wasn't able to watch it. Is that right? Friday night? Yeah. When Larry was injured, when Larry ankle went, that's where they did come undone a little bit. Strawberry is a good player, but he's not the facilitator and the ringleader what Larry Austin Jr. is. And that's where they
that's against the Patriots.
Yeah,
we'll talk
obviously.
About that in a minute. It was sorry, no.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. I only can tell you what I know about Cheshire as a unit.
We'll get to that. Yeah. If you want to leave that till that, I will say. Go on.
I just wanted to add one thing. Surrey, Teo. It looks like he's obviously had a bit of an injury.
Yeah.
Shoulder injury.
Yeah, good. Lawrence. I hope it's not bad for him because he's
phenomenal.
He hasn't played for a long time. And I remember him training at Raiders. He's a good guy. He's a great, just a great person, a great competitor.
Great guy.
I just hope this isn't the last we see of him. I hope it's a simple one, and he continues.
For sure.
I will say.
So I wish him all the best.
I totally agree. I will say something that I did assume that ads might say. It could be. I don't think it's a hot take. I think this is probably ice cold, but. As it stands, it's an overreaction because obviously we've only seen a couple of games from each team. But for me, the way things stand at the moment, Jamel Anderson is what the Giants are missing right now. Imagine if that dude had stayed in Manchester.
Well, we can get onto that for sure. But
his defense,
maybe. I'm going to be honest with you.
Yeah,
I'm going to be honest with you. If I had a choice between Dan Clark and Jamel Anderson, I'd choose Jamel Anderson.
Ooh.
Yeah,
I would because he fits in with this new Giants team because it is a team that's loaded with athletes. They're very, very fast. They're quick down the floor in transition. They're high above the rim. They're showtime. And Jamel can give that kind of game, but he can also give a very, very solid, understated game, if that makes sense. And I don't know if Dan Clark is the athlete that would fit in on this Giants team.
Mm-hmm.
At this stage of his career, definitely.
He was like they had a lot of ice in their veins. Cheshire. They had a lot of ice in their veins because every time, and with respect to Surrey, they and it was obviously a personnel thing, but they did get it close. They kept it close, but every time they got maybe within 5 or 8 points, right? It was either Anderson or Larry Austin Jr. or someone would just hit like a cold-hearted ice in their veins 3 every time it happened, and I need Josh to kind of like confirm this, but it happened at least 4 times. It was just daggers. Not just the first, not just the first half, but the second half. It was just bad. It was just ice in their vein throughout their game. And yeah, listen, Surrey are going to be better. Cheshire are going to be better. And I'm looking forward to seeing how they both do this season. I'm really looking forward.
Let's shuffle on to the next game. I'm conscious already. It was almost 10 o'clock.
Well, I mean, we don't have to go deep into every game because not all.
Well, I was going to leave this one open.
But are we going to talk about the most overrated team in the BBL anytime soon?
Well, I'm interested who this is.
Manchester.
Behave, IO. Behave.
Manchester got to be the most overrated.
Who's the most overrated team? Is it? I mean, the next one on the
London
docket
Lions.
is Sheffield Sharks versus
How are they
London
overrated?
Lions.
How are they overrated?
This is one game I didn't see, but ads, take it away.
I think that they don't know what it is they're going to do just yet. I really think that they're still going.
Hold on, wait. Elaborate. What do you mean they
All right,
don't
I'll elaborate. The game against Sheffield, for this sort of supposed all-conquering team, wasn't an all-conquering victory. And
why would you?
Now listen. Well, listen. Right, here's what I noticed about it.
Keep going.
I'm a huge fan of good rotation, okay? But when you look down the stat sheet for London that night, all 12 players, there's only 2 guys that didn't play double figures in minutes. And I'm going, wow, are they still trying to figure out what the combination
they're
is?
Supposed to get the rotations absolutely correct in the first game.
Yes, I do.
I think they're playing another pre-season friendly.
That's unrealistic. That's
right.
unrealistic.
Now,
that's
Nicholson,
totally unrealistic.
Nicholson has just made a very good point that I was kind of going to make in a different way, and that was, were they toying around a little bit at Sheffield? I don't. This London thing, every year at the start of the season, somebody's like, London, they're going to be unbeatable. They're going to be like this. Josh Beck did it twice.
Typical
they're not going to drop a game all year.
Northern insecurity. Boy.
And they become
Northern
beatable.
Insecurity. That's what it is. Northern insecurity. Northern insecurity. That's all it is. You're just upset that us Londoners are who we are, Londoners. That's all it is. Just listen. It's fine. It's okay. It's okay.
Oh, no.
Manchester is lovely. Is a lovely place. It's not London, but it's a lovely place. One of my favorite groups, one of my favorite R&B groups is literally from Manchester. Children of Zeus. I love them. I've been to see them live several times. I'm going to see them live again in November. Right? I love them. I have no issues with Manchester. I have no issues with anywhere outside of London. But I will call out insecurity. You have an issue with London, bro. You have an issue with London, bro. Come on.
Just add into the London thing, right? Because obviously they had 5 guys with 20 plus minutes, right?
Yeah.
So if you look at the NBA model, you get a first
Why the NBA model? That's 48 minutes.
Oh, no, hold up. I'm in your corner right now.
Okay.
All right. Easy, London. Right. So they have a first string guys and they have second string guys. The first string guys get more minutes than the second string guys. They have the first 5, they have the second 5. London had 5 guys in 20 plus minutes. They shot 85% free throws. 85%. Those win games for people. Okay. They rotated because they got the players to rotate. They're good players from Ovisoko all the way down to who would you say their weakest player? Kaboza. Everyone was talking about him last season. That's their weakest player. A guy that everyone was talking about.
And that's just by age and experience.
As hell. They are tough as hell. Like, they could rotate, and it made no difference. They could probably rotate 6-7 guys and whoop them by 30. Exactly. Maybe. We don't know that. But maybe they could.
Their bench scored 50 points. Their bench put 50. 50. Let me just double check. Hold on. Wait. Game report.
28.
Yeah, put up. The game put up 50. Yeah, their bench. put up 50 if I'm not
It says
mistaken.
bench points 28. It says points in the paint 50.
Oh, maybe okay. Well, I apologize, but the point I'm trying to
28
make
is still a lot.
No,
Yeah.
28. Yeah, 28 to 18.
Yeah.
The only thing that does alarm me is the turnovers. That's the only thing. If I look, if I'm
but
purely looking at the stats, I'm looking at the turnovers and going, that alarms me a
But
little
then
bit.
that's
I would
chemistry.
say,
That's chemistry.
there's
Yeah.
that, and there's the fact that
That's me being fussy.
I haven't watched the entire game, but from what I've seen, they were always in control of it. And in those situations, I mean, it's like watching. I'm not making a direct comparison, clearly, but when you watch the Golden State Warriors play and they're dominating these teams, they have 15, 20 turnovers. Doesn't matter because they're phenomenal.
Listen, London played a sound game. I think they played the game how I thought it would. How I thought it would go. I didn't think it would be smooth in the first game because it wasn't going to be smooth in the first game. I knew it wasn't going to be smooth in the first game. They're getting used to. They're still building chemistry, but they're also getting used to the pace of the BBL. They're getting used to the refereeing, the officiating. They're getting used. They're still getting used to each other. They're still getting used to how to play in the BBL versus how to play against top level European clubs. Now there's so many good things. They did so many good things. You've got Sam Decker. That is a 3-level scorer in the BBL.
He looked phenomenal,
Right.
yeah. And he didn't even look like he was breaking sweat.
Exactly. Now, don't get me wrong. There were obviously the turnovers was the issue, but that's they're still building team chemistry. There was a point where Kufus was down on low block. I think it was at a 2 minute mark, around the 2 minute mark, left in the second quarter, where he tried to pass the ball to Sam Decker. Now Decker tried to make a cut down the baseline, but Kufus thought he'd stay home, but he didn't. He made the cut. That's just team. That's just chemistry. That's just chemistry. But again, there's so many great things they did. OVA is an underrated passer. The Decker Kufus 2-man game is going to be a problem this season. I think the 2-man Decker OV game will be very underrated this season, but I think that's going to be one of their, I want to say secret weapons, but it's going to be a weapon that they can fall back on if their 2-man Decker Kufus game isn't working.
From what I heard, Sheffield had to work their butts off just to score the ball.
There you go.
We didn't even see Huraban either, and he's meant to be one of their better players.
Exactly. Personally, I would love to have seen Devo Van Ostrom run the office a bit more. I think his pick and roll action with Kufus was quite underrated. And it's quite an underrated highlight of the game because, and it was only a few times, but it was just so good. It was just so good.
Ooh,
Ads, mate.
I own ads. I got a question. Sorry, I got a question for both of you guys because I don't know. Sorry, how does the minutes compare to what they've been doing when they've been playing European teams? Does anyone know? I generally don't know.
I mean, I haven't.
It's only been pre-season, so it'll be...
Yeah,
right, okay.
It's difficult
true.
because
when is their first
when
Euro
they started
Cup game?
Sorry?
When is their first Euro Cup game?
I think it's in a week or 2 weeks' time. I can't remember.
Because that would be the real kind of that. I feel like that's the first time we'll see the real Lions team and how they're going to rotate.
It's a difficult one because what you find is that when they started their pre-season, right, they still had players in the Eurobasket, and they still had players coming back from Eurobasket, namely Luke Nelson and Ovie Soko, who were both sort of trying to rehabilitate and try to get some rest after Eurobasket, which they pretty much earned because it was they played a lot of games and they had to jump into preseason would have been really difficult, really tough for their bodies. So they didn't have their full squad of players when they first started their preseason, and that obviously played into their chemistry issues, which was evident in the game against the Sharks. But it wasn't an issue to a point where they looked bad. It was just them getting used to each other. That's all it was. It's just them getting used to each other. That you can understand their pre-season, they didn't have their full personnel.
No. So they're still
throughout their preseason. They didn't have their full. Maybe their last 2 or 3 games they had their full personnel. They didn't have their full personnel throughout the majority of their preseason because players were in the Eurobasket or coming back from the Eurobasket. Something else to be jealous about, Ads, but never mind.
Well, we'll monitor this because obviously there's a big game for them coming up.
I was just going to say, don't worry about the first European game. They've got to play Leicester
on the 30th.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting.
That'll be
I will say
we'll
one
get
thing.
predictions on that later on, but go on.
I will say one last thing. I think, like I said, Ovie Soccer he is a very underrated passer. He had 5 or 6 assists. But I think I'm going to really enjoy as the team chemistry gets better and gets more cohesive. I'm going to enjoy seeing him trust his teammates a little bit more when he gets collapsed upon in the low block and him passing it out to the perimeter for wide open shots, because that's going to happen. That's going to happen. That being said, he's going to lead. He's going to be top 10, top 5 in free throw attempts because he's so strong. He's so smart, high IQ. Yeah. He is going to draw a lot of fouls, and his footwork. Yeah, his footwork is going to be a problem, especially against Manchester.
Well, I mean, it's that little poll you did the other week, Aya. What's going to be the game of the season?
When is that game?
I can't wait. It's going to be. I tell you something. That's going to be a hell of a game.
Do you have a date? Because I don't have a date. When is that game?
I don't think it's for a while yet.
Wow.
Oh well, I'll be damned. Look, who's there?
Josh Bett has just joined us. How are you, sir?
Hey. Josh
is a scorching lion.
Oh yeah, I see that. Lovely name. Good.
Josh is...
I might have to make a trip up to Manchester, Ads, for that game.
Yeah.
I might have to, bro.
Hey, man, there's a spare room here for you, bro.
For sure. I might have
sounds
to.
a bit dodgy.
Yeah, that kind of. But no, I might have to make a trip up to Manchester for that game. I love Manchester, but it's a weird thing for me. I just love northern accents on women. I don't know why. It's a weird thing in my head. I don't know.
This is a basketball podcast, so we're talking about accent.
We're learning a lot.
Anyway, I just got off the phone with Vince McCauley, by the way.
Good.
Oh, are we still recording this?
Yeah, I'm not editing this out either. This is in. Yeah.
No. Just called up, said, "What's up? How you doing?" Just talked about life up in Manchester. It was good to hear from Uncle Vin. So, Vin man.
Good stuff. Right, well, you're in time. We're just going to move on. We're going to rattle through the next one. We'll just leave this next one to Ads, shall we? Ads, my man, he was back in the Giants' home arena versus the Sharks. The rivalry that I remember, anyway, through the 90s and 2000s. Manchester and the Sharks. And Giants, again, blew a big lead. We had multiple overtimes. It was an exciting, thrilling game. And Ads, my man, talk to us. What was it like to be back there?
It was great. I mean, it's even nicer because as long as there's a BBL with Sheffield and Manchester in it, I'm always game because all these rivalries that come up around the league, like you just said, Pabs, it will always be Sheffield. You know what I mean? For me. So yeah, that was a nice one as well. I mean, it was crazy. We got there the first quarter. They were up by 11 within seconds. It seemed they came out firing. They were showtime. They were passing the ball beautifully. Rahman was doing Rahman stuff. Dirk was doing Dirk stuff, and they looked incredible. Now, the weirdest thing was that I bumped into a really, really good friend of mine, Ambo. And sat with him for the second half, and we were chatting away, watching the game, going, "Oh, that's a nice move. Oh, Dirk, that was nasty." And then Ambo just goes, "Bro, look at the scoreboard," and it was a 3-point game, and I was like, "Wait, what?" Because you know when you sort of in conversation and enjoying the game, and then you know it's like, hang on a minute, what's going on here then?
Yeah.
And there was definitely a little bit of third quarter itis going on there, because that's kind of when Sheffield crept in. I thought it was just going to be one of those nights where it was just a blowout. Atiba picked up a technical foul in the first half, and he was pissed. He was really, really upset about one of the calls. And I think a lot of it was the frustration as well.
Get angry at the end,
yeah, because they just would letting Manchester have fun with them. But when you were talking before about people having ice in their veins, Sheffield felt a bit like that.
Yeah.
When they sort of rallied, and then at the end of the game, they just would not go away. And I'm sat there going, they're going to lose this in overtime. And then it went to the second overtime. What an incredible opening night at Bellevue. You know, I said to Vince after the game, I was like, Vince, did you do that on purpose so that you make sure everybody comes back next week and more people come as well? Because he was just sat on his own on the bench, like literally slouched in his chair, dripping with sweat. But yeah, guys, this Giants team, Dirk looks great. I'm going to tell you that straight away. Dirk looks
William
great.
Lee, again, fantastic game.
Yeah. Ramon looks like Ramon. But what I want to say is William Lee is going to be the one. You know, that guy. I loved him when he played for Leicester, but the guy's a cold killer at both ends of the floor. He was outstanding. The other guy that I really like is the young guy, Taj Green. He's a great player, phenomenal athlete.
He works
gets down the floor well.
Yeah.
He works hard. He gets down and dirty. He for me, we're going to have to sort of watch this as it unfolds, but he's got like a bit of a Rodman thing going where he really, really frustrates players. Bennett Cook was didn't know what to do with himself. You know, there was a bit of a tussle on the floor between them two, and, you know, the Sheffield guys were coming on the court like, come on. And then Taj sort of walks back down the court, sort of giggling to himself, you know. I like this guy. I'm excited by this guy. I think he's going to be a great player.
What did you make of Saeed Nelson? Because I feel like he's the only one who's kind of been snubbed from the All-Star 5. His index was 39.
He was good. He was very good. He kept it together for them at the end of the game, especially.
Almost a triple-double as well. 30-odd points, 9 rebounds, 10 assists, 5
and
steals.
The thing is that it wasn't until after the game. I knew he was playing great, but then when I looked at live stats, I think in the second overtime, I was like, God, this guy's on for a triple-double.
Yeah.
But no, he's very good. Very good player.
Snub there from the start.
Yeah.
5.
No, with an index of 39, you've got to be putting the guy in that team. Maybe it's because, you know, they've looked at it and gone, well, they've lost both games. But with numbers like that, you've got to be in there. But this is going to be an exciting year. The Giants, offensively, showtime. But on defense, they look good. They're a big team.
Yeah.
William Lee's a big guy. The young guy, legend. That guy's like 7 feet
solid.
1.
Yeah.
He's huge. And it's not until you notice them huddling up. Again, my buddy Ambo goes, look at the size of those two. And I was like, oh my God, Dirk's 6'7", and they're noticeably taller. They're a big team. You know, they are a long team.
Good.
And it's like I said earlier on, in transition, they will kill you. They are that quick down the floor.
You feel like they kind of needed that win as well after dropping the game to the Flyers. Sheffield obviously came back at them strong, and they managed to sort of hold it out.
It's one of those, isn't it? It's like it was a great spectacle for the fans. It was a great game to watch. But you're looking at it going, okay, this is something that they'll need to look at. And Vince, it's Vince. He ain't no schmuck. He knows what the deal is.
Vince
Vince actually said to me, he's like, I said during a timeout, you got to watch these guys because they're going to come and take this one away from you. And then, a couple of minutes later, they found themselves in a dogfight, and he's going, you see, I told you, But I don't know. I get nervous at the end of overtime games and stuff like that. You know, I'm the one that's trying to keep it cool, but inwardly going, I'm absolutely terrified right now. But there's that feeling of even Ramon, I think it was the end of regulation. He held onto the ball, and then someone got a piece of it, and he ended up having to dive on top of it. You know, okay, whatever. But you kind of just feel like when you've got Ramon Fletcher on the floor and you've got Dirk Williams and William Lee on the floor, you think in the end of the game, I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
I'm okay with it.
Yeah, you expect them to see that out, don't you? Let's... Come on, Mr. Nicholson. Let's talk to them all about a real game of basketball that, in my humble opinion, was the best game over the weekend. It was absolutely... I mean, I wrote my piece on it today, which obviously will go in the paper tomorrow and hopefully go online tomorrow as well. I can see your lips moving, Mr. Nicholson, but you're muted. The words I've written down to describe the game are battle, war, contest. It just was a great contest from start to finish, and it was epic. Yeah.
For those who didn't know, Cheshire and Plymouth didn't get on very well last season, and
Nando's
not many people did get on with Plymouth last season because Plymouth last season didn't win a game until January. So anyone we beat after January hated us because they didn't want to lose to us. And then all of a sudden we brought in Antonio Williams, who's never turned down a battle in his life.
No,
and Cheshire, and the Cheshire games were intense last season, and it rolled over into this one. And what fitted really well into this is there was two pieces which weren't involved in this last season. One for Manchester. No, sorry. One was with Manchester. Okay. Mm-hmm. And one was in Ireland. And then all of a sudden, Issa Brandon bought into this game like he was part of the Patriots last season. And Anderson bought into this game like he was part of Cheshire last season. And it was really, really fun to watch because the intensity was high. You would have thought everything was being decided on this game. And that's what was great about it. You know, it was just, all in all, a very good spectacle.
Seemed to have a bit of everything, didn't it? We had the big lead, Pats knocking down shots, then Phoenix came back, half-time, there's only 6 points in it, Patriots pull away again, then we have the drama of the foul calls, and suddenly Patriots have got 3 guys on 4 fouls, and then within 60 seconds all 3 of them are on the bench, all on 5 fouls, and you're thinking at this point the momentum's definitely with Cheshire. They've chipped away at the gap, they've managed to bring it to like 5-point game, and now 3 key players. So we've got Hassan and Issa Brandon. Issa was phenomenal in that game.
Yeah,
Issa. I mean, whatever he's been doing, eating, training, whatever it is he's been doing, I keep doing more of it because that dude.
Someone pissed him off.
The funny thing with Issa, and I remember
Sam Keita as well was better.
Yeah, Sam was good,
and I was impressed with those. Romario Spencer and Sam Keita both played their part in the game, but at that stage, you're thinking, this is Phoenix's game now. They have got the impetus to go on. They've got the momentum, but the narrative of that game was Antonio Williams saying, "I got this. Get on my back because we're not losing this game." And what he did in that last 4 minutes, without being able to take a break, he played like 37 minutes. I thought he was.
But don't forget. Like, a lot of people actually went, "Oh my God, Antonio had a great game." Antonio had a normal game. Don't forget what he was doing last season. He was playing 35 plus minutes last season. You know, he was second in scoring. He was, I think, third or second in assists, second in steals. That's what he did last season.
Yeah.
And he's carried it on. And, you know, one thing that he's added to his arsenal this season, a jump shot. You know, all of a sudden now you got a guy who can get to the hoop, but now he can pull up as well.
Yeah.
That's tough to guard for anybody at someone that speed. And you're right. I think when players got fouled out for Patriots towards the end, everyone goes, right, that's okay. Cheshire are going to bring this back now.
Well, they were on the charge, weren't they? Yeah.
They were, but you always had that. Do you know, you've always had those games where, if we get a good run going, we're going to be back in this game. But actually, if the other team just get one stop and a basket, the game's done. And that's kind of all it was needing. And that's where people like Spence stepped up and played some good defense towards the end. And then you had a couple of baskets down the other from Hawthorne and
well, I've got to say,
from Antonio.
Massive shout out to LVC Dusha for he controlled the ball in those last couple of minutes.
He was smothered by Anderson for 4 minutes. Yeah,
he ran and took the foul on one occasion and just played smart. But a big shout out as well to James Hawthorne Jr. for the putback dunk that essentially won the game as well.
We have to, I don't know, at some point, do a appreciation episode for LVC.
Facts.
Let's get him back on.
Because he deserves it. Because everywhere he's gone in this league, he has just been just this pillar of consistency and balance and maturity, and just really understands the game. Like he slows it down. He can speed it up, but he slows it down. He's methodical. He's steady. He can run any offense. Well, at least quite a vast majority of offenses in this league. I won't say any, but quite a vast majority of them. And he can run it very, very well. His pick and roll is as good as or amongst some of the best in this league. And he's just a really, really experienced. He's experienced at the international level. He's also experienced at excuse me, apologies. He's experienced at the international level, and he's also experienced at the domestic level. He's really, really smart. And the whenever people talk about LVC, it's like, he's a good gamer, just does that. No one talks about how highly intelligent he is. And I think at some point, there needs to be an appreciation for intelligence.
Yeah.
Like there needs to be appreciation for intelligence. Like Ramon Fletcher, I'm not saying they're on the same ilk. I'm talking about intelligence, and LVC Dusha is an example of that.
Phenomenal.
This is his 10th year in the league, right? And he's like the youngest veteran in the BBL. He started at Surrey when he was 18. Yeah.
Captain as well. Captain of that team.
Let me tell you something about LVC. This is off this game, right? I was on the phone to him earlier on, and he was traveling. Pabs, you all know the distance of this, right? He was traveling from one side of Plymouth to going into Cornwall, into Saltash to drop some players to coaching. He was then going to another session, which was 20 minutes away, to drop some other players to coaching. Yeah, and then he was coming back. Then he was going to go pick someone else up, and then he was going to do this. He's taken on that role of captain. And we got a coaching schedule for our pros, for the kids, and he's making sure they are there. Like, he's 10 years on and he's still doing this stuff, like to make sure kids are getting coached by players. He's making sure people are in places on time. He's the guy that kind of just turns those cogs. Him and PJ, that partnership is something special.
Very, very, very true. I mean, he's taken on that veteran role. He's just a wise young man, and I say as a young man with respect, because I'm older than him, but he's just really wise, and I like his level of maturity. Everywhere he's gone, Royals, Surrey, Plymouth was I can't remember all the other teams, but he's just really, really smart, and I for one, someone that appreciates like the non-scoring point guard. I like the facilitator. That's my shit. Like, excuse my language, but that's what I really love. The facilitator type of point guard.
Yeah.
He
traditional
is
point guard, we used to call it.
Yeah, he is that. He organizes, slows it down. I enjoy the fast-paced game, but I'm a nerd, so I really enjoy that slow pace.
He does the right thing.
Methodical thinking. I really enjoy that. And LVC, hats off to you, bro. Hats off.
So back to that Cheshire game and what I was saying earlier about the previous
wrap up
Cheshire
on this
game.
And then we'll move on.
Yeah. With Larry Austin rolling his ankle. Hope he gets better soon, obviously.
That's a big loss for them, at that stage.
It's a huge loss. And then you look down the roster And this is where I kind of go, this is where could be Cheshire's Achilles heel.
Yeah.
You know, is
they've never had the big
who's
rosters,
going to get the points, right? Because Jamal Anderson gets 21, right? And I rate him massively. I know he can play offense. I know he can play defense. But he, for the last 2 games, has had to go into the 20s to get Cheshire to win or get Cheshire to be close.
For sure.
Who else is going to pull up the big points other than Larry and Jamal Anderson? And should Jamal Anderson be their second scorer?
Put up points, but not.
Sure.
I wouldn't have thought it was consistently.
They need someone that can handle the ball, because again, Jamal Anderson is great as he is, as good as he is. He's not the guy that's going to, facilitate for everyone
because if he's got to play,
he's not that type of player with respect to him.
Yeah, if he's got to play if he's got to play intense defense like he did against Helvetia in the last 4 minutes of that game, you watch that. Like, you cannot play that defense and score 20 a game.
No.
All season, you can't do it.
Tired for sure.
I don't see Will getting 20 a game. I don't see Strawberry getting 20 a game. I don't see Ocharobia getting 20 a game. I don't see T getting 20 a game. So my worry is, outside of Larry,
depth. Yeah.
Who is going to be the scorer?
It's always been a thing with them. They don't seem to recruit deep.
But it's true, they don't seem to recruit deep, but they're able to go deep into the league, into the season pause, and really core out a bunch of games.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong, if they're all fit, they're dangerous as hell. They are dangerous.
They have that one player. They always have that one player that is able to bring it all together.
Yeah.
And Larry is that. Now, I'm not saying Ben is not smart enough to get that type of level out of the other players. Obviously he is, but I don't know personally. I don't know where he's going to get it from. And I think they're going to be really good, but they're going to be really good this season with Larry. Without, they're going to struggle for a bit, but I need to see. I need to see more. I need to see more. It's early. It's only 2 games in. They're 2 games in now.
There's a long way to go.
It's a long way to go. Like, and again, fingers crossed for Larry. Fingers crossed for their traveling fans, for their fan base, for Ben, who's my best mate now. I fingers crossed for them because I really hope Larry's injury isn't too bad. I hope he doesn't stay out for too long. Okay.
Is he laughing at?
I don't think he was laughing. Hello, Josh. You're right there.
Ben Thomas's new friend. That's what he said.
Yeah.
Oh, that's my guy, man. That's my guy. We had a good conversation.
I'm sorry. I've done all that about Cheshire. Do you know what? Perhaps I haven't spoken about my own team.
Yes, you have.
Yeah, but I've said they've played well. But guys, don't forget we didn't have Bell with us.
Yeah.
His international clearance.
Didn't pick up on that apparently.
His international clearance didn't come through. I'm telling you, Patriots are going to be exciting. They are a transition, fast break team who can put the ball in the hoop at numbers. Okay, they look
Captain Obvious.
They look very shallow on depth.
They put the ball through the hoop.
Hey, Josh. Go back to your hole.
Oh no! I love that though. Why are they a good team? Well, you know what? They put the ball through the hoop.
Hey, sometimes you got to do that, right?
Right. Let's move on to a relatively new segment that we're going to introduce. I'm going to get a player from each of you, and hopefully Ads will come back. Ads has been kicked out of the chat. It wasn't me. It's his standard internet issues, I think. or laptop.
I'm about to break up, so I'll be back in about 2 minutes, all right?
There you are. Josh is coming back in a minute. But I want a player from each of you. Your player from the weekend, and we'll come up with our kind of own below the rim all-star 5, as it were. I'm going to go first because I want to, and I'm picking Issa Brandon. He's the best player I saw this weekend. I thought he was phenomenal. Defensively, incredible. Offensively, very, very good. Vastly improved, and he was good the last time we saw him, but he's vastly improved from what we've seen before. Again, it's one game, but he looks to be more the finished article than previously. Who wants to go next?
Oh, so we can pick one player?
Go on, Io. Yeah, Io put his hand up before you, but he's muted. There he is.
I'm gonna leave Dirk to Adam, because Dirk what Dirk did this over the weekend. Oh my God, he's gonna be very serious, and I'm a huge admirer of Dirk Williams. That said, again, I'm gonna leave Dirk to Adam. My pick will be Sam Dekker. He is a bona fide 3-level scorer in the BBL. Top of the key, mid-range, layups, posts. His bag was very deep. His bag was very, very deep against the Sharks, and it just looked so fluid. He looked really, really fluid, and the 2-man game that he and Kufus displayed throughout the game, especially in the first half, I would say, was something to really marvel in the BBL, because it was really fluid. And don't get me wrong, that obviously, their turnover issues, and obviously they're going to build chemistry. It's going to get better. It's going to get more fluid. But when it was fluid, it looked so excellent. It looked effortless. And my pick is Sam Dekker. What I'm going to say is, although Ovi didn't score as much, I think he's going to cause a lot of teams. It's going to cause a lot of teams a lot of problems, because he's got such an excellent passer. But my pick is Sam Dekker.
Yeah,
Josh, you want to crack? You got to pick someone different though, Josh. Now.
Okay. Well, if it's like that,
it is.
Who did Paul pick?
I haven't had mine yet.
Paul go, and I'll go afterwards.
Go on then, Nicholson.
Obviously, Pabs has already picked a Patriots guy, so I'm gonna, I could have looked at Issa or Antonio, so I'm gonna stay away from that, right? And I'm gonna build some bridges today, ladies and gentlemen. Ooh. You've heard it here.
Strawberry.
Mike Miller.
Oh, nice. I like that.
18 points, 15 rebounds, 8 assists. Pick up a win against Manchester. Yeah. Nice. He had a hell of a game.
Go on then, Josh.
Going with Strawberry. Just the kid is. It's funny because, Paul, I can see what you mean by you think he may not be a 20-point player per game, and you might be right because of the system that Cheshire play. But my word, Io, correct me if I'm wrong. This kid can score under will. Like, he can score off the dribble. Sure. He takes very, very tough shots. He can catch and shoot. He's got an unorthodox form, but hey, if it's not broke, don't fix it. I mean,
sure.
Absolutely. I mean, the kid is tough, and we met him at the end of the game, and I was also impressed because when you're that good, there's a certain amount of swag that you're entitled to have. He was. He was a humble, very benevolent, very kind person.
And you know me, I like when players talk their shit, but and I was expecting him to talk his shit, especially Larry Austin. But they are both, for me, unnecessarily humble. They deserve to really.
I need to watch that Surrey game because I didn't see that from the Plymouth game, so I definitely need to watch the Surrey game.
Well, they were on fire. I mean, look, put it this way: they played a Surrey team that was not everybody was there. And Surrey played some good basketball at the time, but when you're not, you don't have Teo, you don't have Boban, Paddy Wang wasn't there. I think one of the Americans are still to come in. It was tough for Surrey, but having said that, I do want to talk about the Scorchers. I do think the Scorchers will improve from last season, that's for sure, because when they were able to get themselves back in the game, they looked a lot more collective than last year, and I think that's down to the players as well. Different players in this year, and I think they will
and
get
the coaching
better.
as well. The coaching, give the coaching respect, man. Absolutely.
Always too, because the fact is, yes, I'm very close to Lloyd Gardner. I think he's definitely a top 5 British basketball coach. But I'm also going to pay respect to my friend Creon and say that, as I did on the live stream, that fans are asking how he's doing. I hope he's well, and hope to obviously see him again one day. But you're right. I mean, look, it's a new direction for Surrey. It can only go up from here.
Absolutely. Salute to the entire organisation, man. Great hospitality. Great hospitality.
Ads,
we're
my
picking
man.
different players, but
he's come back. Ads, we're just picking our top players of the
Decker
weekend.
was the best.
Okay. Our below the rim All-Star 5, if you will. So far, we've got Issa Brandon, Sam Decker, Mike Miller, and Jordan Strawberry. Who would you add to that? Who's the best player you saw this weekend, Ads?
William Lee.
Oh wow!
Oh, I left Dirk Williams to you. I thought you were going to pick Dirk Williams.
Yeah, to be fair, William Lee smashed it.
Dirk was incredible.
Well, do you want to change yours, Io?
It's hard to overlook Dirk, but William Lee was that good.
Yeah.
I'm not going to change my pick. I think Dirk deserves to be, honorable mention, because what he did, he put that team on his back. He put Manchester on his back, and he clawed them through. And to be honest with you, even when like I said earlier about Bristol, playing 14 minutes and just grinding it out. So, as a team, right? Sometimes there are the individual players that play 14 minutes and just grind it out, and they're just non-stop. And Dirk was that, and he deserves his name to be mentioned. Obviously, it's a 5, but definitely honorable mention to Dirk. Salute to him, and I can't wait to see what he does for the rest of the season.
Nah, I mean, Dirk, he looks so good. So good. I mean, it's in London, you obviously got to see him up close and personal a couple of times. This is the first time that I've seen Dirk, in full flow. I saw him in that pre-season game, but the guy is so good, so good. And the only reason that I picked William Lee is because I've only got one choice, and to me, he's just been solid. You know what I mean? He was outstanding yesterday.
Right. Let's do some predictions, fellas, and then we'll finish things off. Just to recap from last week, it was myself, Grant, and Paul, of course. Nicholson got the fly. He was the only one who took the Flyers in the Flyers-Giants game, so he got a point for that one. We were all wrong, picking Surrey against the Phoenix. I was the closest in the Lions win, so I get a point for that. Nicholson was the closest in the Giants win over Sheffield, so he gets a point for that. But I was bang on. Pats +7 against the Phoenix. So I'm gonna win. I'm gonna pick the song at the end of the show this week, which I'll explain in a minute. It's got relevance. This time, from now on, we are now gonna pick who we think will win or lose. We're gonna accumulate it and we're gonna run it as a league. We'll have a prediction league, and we'll go like that. Now, there's two ways we can do it. We can accumulate throughout the season, or we can do what they used to do on the Starters podcast. We can do like a pick and payoff, where we do it month by month. Whoever wins that month, or whoever loses that month, I don't know, has to do a forfeit or something. We'll see, but we'll definitely accumulate as we go on.
This sounds fun. This sounds fun.
Eagles at home to Giants. Ads, my man, what you got? We'll just go with win or lose.
Giants.
Ads going Giants.
Okay.
Io, you want to go next?
Listen, I'm with my guy. Ads. I'm going Giants. I am going Giants 100%.
Nicholson.
Fletch against Newcastle. Giants all day long.
Yeah, revenge game. What? What are we talking about?
All day
Manchester, huh?
Josh,
Come
my
on.
man, who you got? Giants or Eagles? Eagles at home. You're muted, by the way. I can see he's carrying a coffee.
Bro, are you gonna
No,
unmute yourself, bro?
he's putting his coffee down first. It's almost like
Shit.
Challenge Annika, for those of you who can remember that.
Great, I'm carrying 2 cups of teas up the stairs, so
Here he
apologies.
is.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
cool.
Giants or Eagles?
Well, what's everyone else picked?
Manchester.
Manchester.
You going with Giants as well, yeah?
Everybody picked Manchester.
Everyone.
Yeah, we've all picked Manchester.
The odd one out and pick Newcastle then.
Oh, he's going
Wow.
Eagles. I will pick
Alright.
Manchester
I'm
as
not
well.
money on that.
He's zagging there. Next up, London Lions at home to the Leicester Riders, potentially the game of the weekend. A lot of things. We may glean a lot of things from that this week. And let's go Josh first this time. What are you going for, Josh?
The suspense is killing me.
Me too. Shit.
His audio's not working. Josh,
Well, this is
Lions or
exciting.
Riders? Oh, he's plugging his earbuds back in. He may be stalling now to listen to what everyone else is going to do, but he's going first. Oh, I can hear myself now. Good.
Oh yeah, sorry. Say that again. It's my AirPods, sorry.
Lions or Riders? What you got? Who you picking?
Oh, Lions or Riders? Well, that's a stupid question.
Well, give us the stupid answer then.
All right, 20 plus point lead to the Lions.
Are we picking Lions on that one?
Can I just
Nicholson?
add something? Can I add something? Sorry.
Very quickly, yeah, go.
Very quickly. Yeah. Sorry.
Oh, God.
Basically, Sam Decker in the 2016-17 regular season of the NBA averaged 17 minutes per game for the Houston Rockets when he played with James Harden. So,
Ooh,
yeah,
there you go. Good.
interesting stat. So, yeah. So, and I will maintain this. Mike Tucker, love you, but Leicester winning the league, dude. Come on, man.
Nicholson? Lions
Yeah,
or
Leicester. Lions. Yeah.
He said Leicester. He can't change it.
Nah,
Yeah, he
hell
said
no.
Leicester.
I was going to say Leicester are going to lose.
No, I said Leicester.
Nah, hell no.
I'm going to go next. I'm going to zag. I'm going to go Riders.
Oh, this guy.
Yeah. I am, my man.
Let me think. Well, come on. It's gonna. You know what? It's gonna be a fun game. But I'm going with
I hope
London.
so. I hope it is a
without
fun
a
game.
doubt. Without a doubt, it's gonna be a fun game. I can't wait. The atmosphere is gonna be brilliant.
Ads, my man. I don't know if Ads is a believer. Go on, Ads. Who are you picking?
Leicester.
I knew you were going to do that.
Typical northern hatred of us Londoners.
Leicester.
Typical.
Oh, dear.
Jealous.
Next
Insecurity.
on the docket, I think it's a Saturday night game, the first Saturday night game. Bristol Flyers at home to Sheffield Sharks. It could be a tough one to choose. Nicholson, you can go first.
Sharks.
Well, all the bridges you built picking Mike Miller, and now you've gone for Sharks. That's a shame. I
This is a difficult one.
It is, isn't
It is. This one is difficult.
Because I believe Bristol are gonna grind out again, like I've been saying throughout the episode. The temperament issues might be an Achilles heel for Sheffield. If it gets like really dirty and ugly in the game. Oh my god. I'm a Tiba fan. God, I can't get away from. I'm gonna go with Bristol, but I think I'm making a mistake. But I'm gonna go with Bristol.
All right,
I think I'm
good.
making a mistake.
I'm going to take the Sharks because they're 0-2, and I think they are steaming, and they want to rectify at least some of the events over the weekend.
Can I change my pick?
Uh-uh.
Fuck.
Ads, my man. Who are you going for?
Bristol.
Flyers. And Josh. He's now going to ask, what are we choosing?
Bristol and what? Sheffield.
Bristol or Sheffield?
Jaws.
That's funny. Sheffield then. He's picking
Sharks
Sheffield.
it is, yeah.
To see whichever film you like. Good film.
Couple more games over the weekend. So October, we're on to the Sunday now. Giants at home to the visiting Plymouth City Patriots.
Easy
Nicholson,
pick.
who are you going for?
Yeah. Oh, jog on.
Easy pick.
None of you sent.
We'll
Easy
get us
pick.
out of the way. Me and Nicholson.
Yeah,
are going Pats.
obviously Patriots. Yeah.
Me and
Easy
Nicholson are
pick.
going Pats. Ads, my man.
Easy
Which
pick.
game are we saying now?
Giants,
Manchester Plymouth.
Patriots.
Yeah, easy pick.
I'll see you up there, ads.
Nicholson, my friend. It's going to be a long ass drive back down to Plymouth. You're going down, son.
Easy pick.
Go on then, Io.
Manny. I'm going with Manchester. Easy. With no disrespect, guys. Apologies, but I think
I hope Antonio Williams is listening to this tonight. Josh, my man.
I'll make sure he does. Don't you worry about that shit.
So, asking me who I'm picking, either Manny or Plymouth City Raiders.
ouch.
Sorry, my bad.
Come on.
Well, first of all, the Plymouth City Patriots have the most unprofessional social media team in the world. They're a bunch of bus. They've got the worst coach.
Can't disagree with that.
Right? They got the worst coach, No, I'm joking. Listen, I can never, ever turn my back on Uncle Paul James. I will, and I love Vince as well, but Paul James is practically like an uncle to Josh Betts from the early days. I'm always going to support Paul James no matter what. So, Plymouth City Patriots. BJ, I'm always behind you, baby.
Well, fairly even spread across that one. A couple more games to go. Cheshire Phoenix ices the lot. Oh no, sorry, hang on. Caledonia Gladiators versus the Surrey Scorchers.
Oh, are they playing at the weekend? Why are they?
Yeah,
That's not on the website.
It's on live stats. It's in the cup though.
Huh?
Yeah, it's BBL Cup.
Gladiators Scorchers in the BBL Cup. Ads, my man, you go first this time.
From what I saw of Caledonia in that pre-season game, they're not a team to be met. They look good, and I'm going to go with them.
Going with the Glads. Josh, my man.
I haven't seen Caledonia play, but I've heard good things about them.
Yeah, same.
This is what I'll say. Looking at Surrey now, with still players to come in, sorry, you can. A lot of people, the pundits, say that the BBL is a unique league. We have our own brand, which I never agree with that because I feel like we're still trying to find our identity and catch up to international leagues. So I'll say that anybody can knock over anybody as long as it's not, except the London Lions this year. So I gotta support Surrey. Again, I'm the most biased when it comes to BBL because I will support the people I'm close to, and Lloyd is one of those as well.
So you'll go with Surrey. I am, my man.
I'm intrigued by Caledonia. I think I'm more intrigued by them than I necessarily have high hopes for them because I haven't seen them. I've heard great things, really good things. I shouldn't say great, but I've heard really good things about them. But I've seen, with Andrew out, I'm just assuming he'll be out. I hope they get more of their players in by then. I really don't know. It's a tough one. Yeah, let me go with Surrey. Surrey, right? Let me go with Surrey because
you know why? Because on the weekend he had the time of his life at Surrey.
Yeah, I did. I had a great time with those guys, man.
And
Nicholson,
you know what? The owner gave him a present as well.
No way.
Yeah, a foam finger. I said it earlier.
Oh, of course you did. Yeah. Good stuff. Nicholson, who are you going with?
Caledonia.
Going with the old Glads, the old Gladdies. Oh my
Yeah,
God,
they
start calling them the Gladdies.
They look good. They look good.
Is that their nickname, Gladys?
It is now. Yeah, I'll go with the Gladdies as well.
No, Gladdy.
No, I don't like that.
I don't think they like it either. But there you go. That's what they've got. So, last game on the weekend, 2nd of October, Cheshire Phoenix at home to the Newcastle Eagles. We're not sure, obviously, if Larry Austin Jr. is going to be present for the Phoenix. We hope so. But let's go Nicholson first.
I gotta throw a curveball, and I'm gonna go Newcastle.
Really? Okay, interesting.
Ads, my man.
Cheshire.
Josh.
Newcastle.
Really?
No. Take that back. Sorry, I will go Cheshire for this one.
Oh.
I am, my man.
Yeah, if it's for me, it's a simple one. Cheshire. I'm going with Cheshire all the way. Without doubt.
Yeah,
Even without Larry, I think they're just a better, well organized team. Yeah, I'm going with Cheshire without a doubt.
I think I'm going to go for Cheshire as well. We will tally those up.
Yeah, and shout out to their fans. I'm a huge fan of their fans, but I really love their fan base. I really do. I really do. So shout out to their fans, man.
Good stuff.
Have you told everyone the meeting encounter you had with Ben Thomas? Sorry.
Yeah, I did.
We need to get Io down to Plymouth, Pabs. We need to bring him down there. He needs to see it.
Definitely. We'll set the road trip up there, I'm sure, at some point. But fellas, thanks. I get to choose the song that's playing out, and I'm going to choose. Let me just set the scene for you. I'm walking. It's getting quite dark. I'm walking. It's Friday night. I'm excited about the BBL. I've got to pick my car up from the garage because it failed its MOT. Had the work done that day. Went to pick it up. I'm walking along, and for those of you who've watched the TV show about the Royal Navy cadet or what do they, graduates kind of thing, based at Raleigh. That's down the road from me. Raleigh Royal Naval Training Corps is right there. Friday night, so a lot of the naval boys are on their way across the road to the bus or walking back towards Tor Point. I'm walking along. I got my headphones on. I'm listening to Street Ball, I think it's called, or no, the City Game. It's called. It's a book from the 70s. It's about the New York Knicks just after they win the championship, where Willis Reed comes out with his leg all strapped up, wins the game, and he only played like 5 minutes.
What's the name of this song, man? Shit.
So I'm walking along, listening to that. Two big naval lads
Bohemian
walking
Rhapsody.
I'm the long-winded guy.
I'm making my way downtown.
I'm the long-winded guy. Just leave the long-windedness to me, please.
I step off the curb. Listen. I'm being.
This sounds like.
Let me finish.
You're about to,
please. It's already taking too long.
Did you burst into the Thriller dance while you were walking down the road?
If I had broken into the Thriller dance, it probably would have been a lot cooler. I stepped off the curb to walk round the two guys, and as I went to step up the curb, I fucking missed and ploughed straight into the floor, rolled onto my back, and just laid there. And bless them.
The song is called My Neck, My Back.
If I'd have seen that, yeah. If I'd have seen that, if I'd have been witness to that, I would have been pissing myself laughing. But bless them, they turned around, they looked genuinely shocked, and they came over to help me up. So
in the Navy.
Yeah, good to them. And one of them offered me his gin and tonic. You know, you get those cans of like Jack Daniels or whatever it is, or gin and tonic in a can. He's like, "Do you want one of those?" I was like, "I probably shouldn't. I've just fallen over and I'm sober." And then I laid on the sofa in agony. I've got like a cracked rib and a cracked elbow. And I missed all the games Friday night.
Yeah, but what's the song?
Yeah, what's the song?
Kanye West, All Falls Down. There you go.
Jesus Christ.
I was expecting something really, really special.
I know, right?
Oh, sorry about that, everyone. Anyway.
That's not too bad, actually. I don't mind that song. Even though I can't stand the guy, I don't mind that song.
Oh, no, he's crazy, but he's a genius. A flawed genius, as most of them are. IO... Ads, Mr. Nicholson, Josh Bet, better late than never. In fact, we'll change your name from the man, the myth, the legend to the better late than never, Josh Bet. Thanks for coming on. Everyone at home, thanks for listening. Until next week, take it easy, and we will speak to you soon.
Sophomore 3 years, ain't picked a career. She like, it, I'll just stay down her and do it. Cause that's enough money to buy her a few pairs of new ears. Cause her baby daddy don't really care. She's so precious with the peer pressure. Couldn't afford a car, so she named her daughter Alexis. She had hair so long that it looked like weave. Then she cut it all off, now she look like Eve. And she be dealing with some issues that you can't believe. Single black female, addicted to retail. And well, and when it falls down, who you gon' call now? Come on, come on. And when it all falls down, man, I promise I'm so self-conscious. That's why you always see me with at least one of my watches. Rollies and Porsches that drove me crazy. I can't even pronounce nothing past that for safety. Then I spent $400 on this, just to be like, you ain't up on this. And I can't even go to the grocery store without some ones that's clean and a shirt with a team. We live in the American dream. The people highest up got the lowest self-esteem. The prettiest people do the ugliest things. For the road to riches and diamond rings. Shine because they hate us, floss cause they the greatest. We tryna buy back our 40 acres. And for that paper, look how low we'll stoop. Even if you in a bench, you still in the cool. Come on, come on. And when it falls down, who you gon' call now? Come on, come on. And when it all falls down, I say the police, that's how I treat them. We buy our way out of jail, but we can't buy freedom. We'll buy a lot of clothes, but we don't really need them. Things we buy to cover up what's inside. Cause they made us hate ourselves and love they wealth. That's why shorty's hollering where the ball is at. Drug dealer by Jordan, crack kid by crack. And the white man get paid off for all of that. But I ain't even gon' act totally other than that. Cause I went to Jacob with 25 down before I had a house, and I do it again. Cause I wanna be on 106 and Park, pushing the bands. I wanna act all horrific like it's all terrific. I got a couple past due bills, I won't get specific. I got a problem with spending before I get it. We all self-conscious, I'm just the first to admit it. Yeah, come on, come on. And when it falls down, who you gon' call now? Come on, come on. And when it all falls down, Southside, Southside, we gon' set this party off right.